Hey everyone, guess he's back. It's Kamish, back here with another video team preview. This time it's Joshua, new owner, LOC qualifier, the best qualifier coming over with KRY Phoenix in that competitive West Division. Obviously Joshua proven to be active already. That's the kind of owner we want here in the League of Champs. Welcome to Edition. Week 1, going through his schedule here. His first game's against Ron and Steel Curtain. See a loss here for Joshua. I think for Steel Curtain, certain players will make a big difference for him. I think Telvin Smith is going to be one of those guys for him in this week. Week 2 versus Ryan and Deuce Bombers, we already saw in his preview. It's going to be a win in a divisional battle here for Joshua. I think Joshua has better IDP players. That's usually what happens when you miss the draft, like guys like Ryan and Deuce Bombers did. You end up with a decent offense, but your IDP players are usually pretty awful, and that's, I think, they're going to be the difference there. Week 3, taking on Chris and True North. I see a loss here for Joshua. It's going to be an interesting game, though, or an interesting week for both. True North has Aaron Rodgers, and KRY Phoenix has Matthew Stafford, and those two teams play each other, so that's going to be a game they'll probably be watching for sure. Week 4 versus Krista and Storm. We just saw from her preview that that's going to be a win for Joshua. I think wide receivers are going to play a part in this one. V-Jax, I think, is going to have a big game. Week 5, taking on Mark and Luck Commander. We already saw from his preview another win for Joshua. Basically, Luck Commander's IDPs, most of them are on the bye, and I think that's going to be a factor in this one. Week 6, another divisional rival game. This time it's Susan fighting Geese. And that's going to be another win in the division for Joshua. Basically, looking at the matchup, Bridgewater and Doug Martin, two key players for Fighting Geese on the bye. Right now, Fighting Geese's backup quarterback's Jared Goff. We already seen what he's capable of doing after preseason week 1. Pretty much jack shit so far. So that'll play a big difference. Week 7, taking on Steven and US1. And we already know that's going to be a win for Joshua. So riling off 4 straight wins here. Again, I think better depth here just translates into a W for KRY Phoenix. Again, it's strength of schedule, right? So KRY Phoenix getting teams that obviously struggled last year as well. US1 missed the draft, and it only working to Joshua's advantage. So through 7 weeks, a 5-2 team. Week 8, taking on another divisional rival, last year's champion, Brian in the 12th man. Going to be a loss for Joshua. Looking at the lineup, he's crippled by the bye in this one. It should be a relatively easy win for Brian in the 12th man with all the players on the bye there for Joshua. Week 9, taking on Haha Dix. Gets back on the winning track, though. Much like being crippled on the bye 1 week, the next week you play a team that is also crippled by the bye, and that's the case for Sean in this one. He's got Carson Palmer, DeAndre Hopkins, and Jordan Reed on the bye. That's going to really hurt him with 3 key players out. So 6-3 after 9 weeks. Looking really good for Joshua here. We roll into week 10, another divisional matchup, Gwevin and Monsters of the Midway. I see a loss here, though. This one's going to be a test of depth. Looking at the matchup, both teams are just crippled by the bye. Both their starting quarterbacks are on the bye. So really, it's a tough one to call. But I do think somehow Gwevin finds a way to win this one. But that one should be interesting. Fairly low scoring there with week 10. Week 11, taking on Milan in the 6-9. I see a loss for Joshua in this one. Reason being, he's got 2 key players on the bye, Danny Woodhead, Demarius Thomas. I think that's going to play a factor. So after 6-3, fall a couple losses to 6-5, heading into week 12. Before that all-important flex game, takes on Luke and Too Good for a Name. And I see Joshua falling here on this one. I think looking at the matchup, Pittsburgh plays Indianapolis that week. I think Too Good for a Name has a few offensive players on both those teams, and I think it's going to be a high-scoring matchup. So I think that's going to be the difference. Luke's going to get some big points from his offensive players there. So through 12 weeks, heading into the flex game, seeing Joshua at 6-6. I mean, obviously, being a new owner, 6-6 is pretty good. I mean, he's going to be fighting, if that's the case, for a playoff spot, and looks comfortable being in this league. The only thing that I would be wary of for Joshua and KRY Phoenix's team is obviously he's only got the one running back, Danny Woodhead. A couple of those other guys might pan